Notice that we have a link to the Universal Installer. When might you want to re-invoke the Oracle Universal Installer? Well, the answer to that question is we use the Universal Installer here when we want to manage one or more Oracle product installations. One thing I didn't mention is that the Oracle Universal Installer will track inventory. That's why it gets particular about knowing where your Oracle home is and where your Oracle base is, because notice that we can, from the OUI here, click Installed Products, and it will look and find any Oracle homes on the system. And of course, on my system, I have one for grid infrastructure, and I just realized, that's definitely a GI because it stands for grid infrastructure. I'm a little slow today. And we also have a home for the database. And then there's a tab for environments, etc. So long story short, if you want to modify an installation or see this here, deinstall products, if you're doing an uninstallation of Oracle, this is what you would do, because that's an important question. It's one thing to focus on installing Oracle. You need to know what to do if you want to uninstall Oracle. And the short answer is you load up the Oracle Universal Installer and deinstall the appropriate product. Yes, I really want to. And then it has a little ellipsis here. Do I really want to what? Oracle, that's an open-ended question, isn't it? Do I really want to? At any rate, where is our next stop on post-installation tasks? Well, there's the alert log, isn't there? Let's go to Drive C and delve into App Oracle Product 1210 P-Site. And where is it, you're probably wondering? Well, here we are at another potential dead end. You get the alert log when you bring the database up. Oops. As they say in New England, you can't get there from here. This underscores how fundamental the relationship is between the Oracle instance and the Oracle database. Final thing we'll do is check services, so let's do a Windows R, services.msc. That's a shortcut method for opening the Windows Service Control Manager. And all these columns are quick sortable. You can sort A to Z or Z to A on name, and you'll want to come down to the O's. You also can just select one and type O to jump down to the services that begin with O. And there's not much here, to be honest with you. We have a TNS listener service, that's certainly important, but notice that that's pertinent to the grid infrastructure. We also have an Oracle service that references the word service, but it also references ASM. Do you see where I'm getting here again, friends? Just having the instance down is only half the battle. You're going to have a dedicated service associated with the database, and the listener only becomes relevant once you have something for the instance to listen for. So we're going to have to revisit the Services Control Manager after we create our database. And while we're on that subject, you can open up a blank MMC console. Again, Windows R, MMC with no other parameters. And if you do a File, Add, Remove, Snap-in, there's actually a snap-in here called Oracle Managed Objects. It's called Oracle Primary MMC Snap-in in the available snap-ins list. But once it's selected, it turns into Oracle Managed Objects. And this, again, allows you to drill down into your host to view metadata concerning Oracle homes, database operators. That's actually something else to consider, the fact that we get built-in groups in Windows. But the real party starts once you have a database installed. Actually, let me just open comp mgmt one more time to revisit the local users and groups lists. And let me open up groups. And you'll notice we have actually a lot of Aura underscore operating system groups. The main one is Aura underscore DBA. Anybody who's a member of that group is a total super user, total Mac Daddy, however you want to say it, once you do have Oracle database installed on that system. So you do indeed want to be careful. Oracle Database 12c includes a bunch of privileges and groups that are new in this version that we'll talk about later on in another course.